cruise news time. And wow, we got a lot of cruise news today. Are you cruising on Carnival Cruise Line soon? Are you boosted? Well, did you know that if you are boosted, you get a benefit at embarkation? I knew about it, forgot about it, and now I remembered to talk about it because there's been some clarification. Also, the CDC, they're still doing stuff, and now they've talked about some more places you should not travel. They've elevated the travel warning for a few locations, and they just happen to be cruise locations. How about that? Holland America Line feeling the strain of the crew member shortage and canceling a very popular cruise option. Royal Caribbean, though, doing something really cool for passengers that received future cruise credits during the shutdown, taking some stress away. And there's been a mask policy change, and I'm pretty sure that some people are not going to like it. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Welcome to the show. Let's start with some cruise news because there's a lot of it. The first piece of cruise news I want to talk about is the benefit that Carnival cruisers get if they are boosted. The CDC defines being up to date with your vaccination as having the 2 shots of the vaccine or the 1 shot, depending what version of the vaccine that you have. And then after a period of time has gone by, you are eligible for a booster. If you have that booster, you are considered up to date. And I think it's that language around being up to date that has caused some questions around a policy at Carnival Cruise Line. The policy is this. If you're fully vaccinated and you've had your booster, you get the benefit of an extra day to get your pre-cruise test done. For many folks, you can only do your test 2 days prior to your cruise, but if you are fully vaccinated and you have the booster, you can take up to 3 days. So that's a big benefit. There's been some question though, now that the second round of boosters is out, do you have to have a second booster to qualify for the pre-cruise testing benefit for folks that are boosted? Man, it gets convoluted. That was clarified. Carnival is not requiring a second booster shot for anything. So if you're hoping to take advantage of the 3-day testing window opposed to the 2-day testing window, you just have to be fully vaccinated and have a booster shot. I don't know. For me, a quick question. When do you like to test? I like to test as close to the cruise as possible. Like if I'm not flying out somewhere, if I'm flying, I like to test before I fly, just in case I turn out positive. I don't want to take the flight. But if I'm driving or if it's somewhere here in Florida, I wait until like 12 hours before my cruise to do the test. I want to be as close to the cruise as possible. I've heard some horror stories lately about now places where people are getting tests for free, like CVS and Walgreens. They're starting to charge for those tests. We've seen cancellations at those places. I continue to use the home test. They're $25 each before the shipping, so let's call it $35. It's the most convenient thing that I've done. I've done a couple videos about those home tests. I'll leave one linked at the end of this video if you want to see how to do a home test. It's not really that hard, and I've done it several times, and that's how I do it. But when do you like to get tested? Do you like to test a day before, 2 days before, 3 days before? There you go. But if you're worried about getting a second booster to take advantage of the Carnival booster benefit, you don't need a second booster. That's the clarification. Cruise news story number 2. Let's just stay in the middle of this protocol lifestyle. The CDC came out a few days ago, and they elevated a travel warning from level 2 to level 3 for 3 new places, and they happen to be cruise places: Anguilla, Jamaica, and Turks and Caicos. Now, that may be shocking, it may not be shocking, but there's the worst travel warning for the CDC right now is level 4, and there's nothing there. Level 4 is like, don't go there at all. Now, level 3 is a different story. Almost every place in the world, let me just give you some examples. The list is so vast, I had to write some down. Level 3, you got the Bahamas, Aruba, Jamaica, Grand Turk, Cayman Islands, Bonaire, Canada, Curacao, Greece, Italy, the UK, Iceland, Norway. There's a lot on the level 3. And what level 3 talks about is if you're not up to date on your vaccines, that means you're vaccinated and you have the booster, you should not go there. So, I don't know, is it a big deal? It seems like we're not really paying much attention to these travel warnings anyways. Is it a big deal that these three countries that are cruise countries were elevated to level 3? I don't think so. Again, most of the cruising that's happening right now, people meet the requirements. They're vaccinated, boosted, that kind of thing. So if you're unvaccinated out there and you care at all what the CDC says, these are places that they recommend that you do not go. but I don't know if the unvaccinated even care about what the CDC says. Or they might be vaccinated if they could, if it's medically possible. I don't know. Neither here nor there. Not really, looking to have a vaccine debate. Just want to give you the information. But that's, that just came down the pike. Also, cruise news story number 3. Cruise shortages continue to impact booked cruises. This time, let's talk about Holland America Line. They've been doing cruises in Alaska for 75 years. They are one of the preeminent Alaska cruise lines, and they've got a special scenario up there. They've got a cruise tour scenario called the Yukon and Denali cruise. It's a land and sea cruise, or a sea and land cruise. You spend part of your time on the cruise ship, and then you spend part of your time in Denali, which is like a beautiful park, kind of, like 3-day kind of thing, land and sea. Well, unfortunately, they're understaffed for it, and they're canceling some of those land and sea cruise tours. If you are impacted, they're sending out an email to you. They're going to give you a bunch of stuff, money back, future cruise credit, the whole 9 yards. If you're impacted, you're going to get the information on that. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I just wanted to put it out there that we've talked about shortages on Norwegian. We've talked about shortages on Carnival. And I just wanted to let you know there's another cruise line that is struggling with shortages. I think the first cruise that's impacted is still like a week away, which is close, especially if you've been planning for a long time to do this cruise. That's the question for the comments. Cancellation day, were you canceled on one of these Holland America cruise tours? If so, leave a comment below. Now, I got to tell you something cool that Royal Caribbean is doing for its customers. We have to talk about this mask policy change. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like the information from the show, if you're enjoying the presentation, I do it almost daily. If you'd like to be notified when the show comes out, it's very simple. You just hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you're going to be one of the first people to see the show, one of the first people to get into the conversation, and it helps us out. It helps us continue to push the show out to a broader audience. We've got a big goal. It probably will take all of our lives, but we would like to get to 18 million subscribers. We are at 172,000 subscribers. I think we'll get to 200,000 subscribers pretty soon, in a couple months, but we need you. So if you love that cruise life, if you love everything cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. And then let me just say this. I want to talk a little bit about the community. Tune out if you're not interested in the community. The way I feel about this YouTube channel is the way I feel about our Facebook group, and the way I feel about anywhere that I have the ability to help shape the conversation. Those things are my baby. And so in the comments, I do my best to steer that conversation in a positive way. If people are perpetually negative, I try to deal with that. I set up all of these words around negative stuff to filter that out so that I can look at those comments. And one thing that I do not do, that I wish everybody in the cruising community would do, I do not let people talk bad about other content creators. There are content creators that are my friends. There are content creators that are my acquaintances. There are content creators that I just don't like at all. And I'm just like everybody else, right? But regardless, whether you're my friend, my acquaintance, or somebody I do not like at all, I do not allow the community to talk bad about other content creators, just because it's a challenge. So there are plenty of platforms that you could do that. I just, for our community, and I'm shepherding this community, I don't have room for it. So if you're going to go down in the comments and slag off another creator or something like that, just know that comment won't live. So don't do it. If you want to praise other people, that's fine. I'm good with that. But again, even like critical comments for me. Sometimes people will say, look, I just want to let you know I don't like this about you, or I don't like that about you. Sometimes I don't leave those comments up, because if you're leaving a comment specifically for me with the goal in mind to help me out, then I'll take it, I'll make note of it, and then I'll get rid of it. Or unless your goal is you want everybody to pile on, then that says something else, right? So that's kind of the way that we run the community. We try to keep it positive. We try to keep it on the rails. Sometimes there's so many comments you can't. But one thing I do key in on is when people are giving other creators a hard time. You have to go to their platform to do that. You have to start your own platform to do that. You're not welcome to use our platform to take shots at people that are out there trying to create. Again, my relationship to them, irrelevant, no matter who it is. I've tackled topics in the past about creators that were critical. Even in those comments, I didn't let people go hard at the people I was talking about. But I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to clear that up. I probably, removed hundreds of comments about creators, and I don't know if anybody was out there going, oh, what happened happened to my comment where I, called somebody a horrible name. That's what happens. All right, back to the cruise news. Royal Caribbean doing cruise passengers a solid. If you remember a little period in time, 2020, 2022, there was a global shutdown of cruising. I'm spinning a tale here. A global shutdown of cruising, and many cruise lines had to cancel cruises, reschedule cruises, cancel cruises, reschedule cruises, cancel cruises. I think I'm still traumatized by this whole scenario. But in that process, a lot of future cruise credits were generated. Cruise lines would incentivize people to continue to keep their money with them by giving them a future cruise credit, and sometimes they would give bonus money on top of that. And the challenge coming out of the pandemic is those future cruise credits are expiring. So it was a use it or lose it scenario. And so Royal Caribbean, looking at that use it or lose it scenario, said, why should we penalize people that were loyal to us, who kept their money with us? Why should we penalize them by making their future cruise credits expire? And they've decided not to. So any future cruise credit during that time period that was issued during the pandemic that has an expiration date, that expiration date has been wiped out. They do not expire. And so you can keep those on your account. You can use those whenever you're ready to cruise again. I think it's a solid thing to do because not everybody is ready to cruise right now. And they're removing this pressure of like, oh, if I don't cruise right now, I'm going to lose the money. I think this is an excellent thing. So this goes for Royal Caribbean. This goes for Celebrity. If you have a future cruise credit that's set to expire, the expiration date is gone. Now, the only thing that will expire is the bonus money, which makes sense. So in a scenario where you might have been given 25% bonus for keeping your money, that will expire. So check your future cruise credit. You can go into your account. You can look at your future cruise credit. The regular future cruise credit won't expire, but the bonus will. But solid. Way to go, Royal Caribbean. I think that's a very cool thing. How about that? All right, now let's talk about a big change in mask policy. We've seen over the last couple weeks an increase of cases on board, and we have heard anecdotally from people here, there, and everywhere that, yeah, I'm on a cruise and they're recommending masks now. I got a mask up inside. Well, there's one cruise line that has put that in black and white. There has been a change to the masking policy on Princess Cruises. And right now, I'll just read it to you. This is from their updated FAQ. Masks are recommended but not required in the majority of venues, though they may be required in select venues or situations. Please note that in an abundant, and this is the important one, especially for some folks, please note that in the abundance of caution, masks are required at all indoor locations on northbound and southbound Alaska voyages between Whittier and Vancouver until further notice. Masks will be provided to guests if needed. So this certainly will impact Alaskan cruisers cruising on Princess. I don't know if this is just the beginning, but Princess taking a stand on mask for Alaskan cruisers. It'll be interesting to see if anything else happens. Does this impact you? Does this change the way you feel about your cruise? Have you had to mask on a cruise recently? How do you feel about it? We can always have that conversation below. Boom! That is the show today. Time for you to sound off. Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a reminder, my name's Tony. You can get more of this by subscribing. You can also help the show out by hitting the like button. Another thing you might not know if you're new here is I've been deemed by the universe as the punisher of the non-likers. So if you're apathetic, like you just don't hit the like button, or if you're a dislike button hitter, well, I'll be forced to punish you. And your punishment is this. If you do not hit the like button, you have to go to the CDC website and make a list out of every country that is on the level 3 travel warning. And let me tell you this, there's a lot. You have to write it out in pencil, and you have to write it out 500 times. So unless you want to do CDC level 3 country write-offs with a pencil, a dull pencil on wide ruled paper, you can avoid all that by hitting the like button. This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next show, until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.